So IFS is one of the elite services. It is Indian Foreign Service. So the Indian Foreign Service officers are responsible for executing India's foreign policy. So we have a ministry called Ministry of External Affairs. We have missions which are in, I think, more than 150 countries. So by mission, I mean that who is going to represent Indian government's interest. Suppose I am in US and India-US relations are taking certain shape, and the government of India has certain plans. Definitely, the ministry is not going to call them and saying thing to them. We have to carry out their work, like how do government want to possess the relation in terms of politics, in terms of economics, and also number of Indians live in the US and they have to renew their passports, so they need government services. So in these positions the Indian Foreign Service officers come in handy. So anyone working abroad, so we definitely have headquarters in New Delhi as well, but I'll tell you more about job that the Indian Foreign Service people do abroad in missions, in like embassies or consulates. Embassies are Indian missions in the capital of any country, and consulates are like Indian missions in the predominant cities which are not capitals. So India has the embassy in Washington D.C., and they have consulate in San Francisco, in Chicago, Atlanta, other places. So in if you're in the capital of the country, you definitely have to look after the political relations, like how is the politics going on, which leader is coming, which if your prime minister comes, whom should he visit. You have to send in daily political reports, political developments from that country. So that is job of a political officer. Then there is the most important job, which is of economics. A lot of trade happens between two countries, and a lot of trade problems also keep occurring. Like someone's shipment is held at the port. There is some regulation which is not allowing certain traders to send in their items. So we have to liaison with the concerned authorities and take care of it. Then there is consular and passport issues that have to be taken care of. Continuous passport renewals. People who want to go to India, they have to obtain visa. Then they have to come to Indian embassy. People who are not Indians, of course. Then there's a cultural part. We have to promote Indian culture. We have to showcase how Indian culture is progressing, how well we were in the past. Like promotion of culture is important aspect. Then there is defense component of relationship, which is very important. These are the basic things that happens in a mission, but sometimes we have various other interests. Like suppose with the US, we have interest in terms of space. So we have an officer who is coming from ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization, who is working here, and he's consulting with his counterpart here in NASA. Sometimes we also have different technology, like someone from Department of Science also here. So it depends, like if some country is very well developed in certain category, and we have to do coordination, we send in specialists from our country to that embassy, because embassy is like the government headquarters in a foreign country, and mostly officers working are Indian Foreign Service officers. But it's not a surprise to find IAS, IPS, IRS people also in an embassy working, because if you're working on tax issues, then you want an Indian Revenue Service officer. If you're working on intelligence issues, you need to have an Indian Police Service officer. So, like, but these roles are also sometimes taken care by foreign service officers as well.